UNEP framework about better data management. Not everywhere in the world is environmental data available or reliable. And even if it is, you can stare at the best quality data and still not know what to do with this. So how can we improve the situation? We had an idea in Estonia that a new global alliance is called for. A number of countries have already shown their interest. And we are very happy today that the Prime Minister of Estonia has taken the time during the COP26 and has come to open this event. You are very welcome, Kaja Kallas.
Welcome here. I'm very happy to see so many of you here and give my greetings to also those who watch us online. For us in Estonia, data is very important. We are a digital country. You don't hear?
Yeah, it's okay.
Don't hear? Fine. Data is very important for us in Estonia. So when we thought about climate change and climate action, then we, as a small country, 1.3 million people, we thought what could be our share in this, and we came up with the idea of this data for environmental alliance, to share the data that we have about climate change, that there will be balanced decisions made on the basis of the data. The data is interoperable. We can use the data everywhere. And as Thomas Edison once said, the value of an idea lies if it is used or is in its usage. So therefore we try to make a really practical outcome out of this, and I'm very happy to welcome you all, and I also emphasize that please bear with us, try to come up with new ideas that we could build upon here so that everybody could benefit from this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. And now let me walk you through the origin of the idea. How did it all start? It was December 2017 to March 2019 when the Minister of Environment of Estonia, Mr. Siim Kiisler, was the President of the United Nations Environmental Assembly, UNEA number 4. During our presidency, we prioritized comparable international environmental data, data management, and data strategy. And we were successful. Ministers committed to support UNEP in developing a global environmental data strategy by 2025. This will be the first ever global governmental data strategy, and it is a major step forward. Now, as a follow-up and a stepping stone to the development of this data strategy, in 2020, we came up with a proposal of the Data for Environment Alliance, and we named it DEAL, short. And we describe it as a global multi-sector initiative which creates a nexus between science and policy and business. It unites both state and non-state actors and promotes cooperation on environmental data, data-driven solutions, and latest technologies. Government of Estonia, under the leadership of Prime Minister, has now decided to support the first pilot projects also financially. So the first international cooperation projects under DEAL will be with Kenya and Montenegro. And we're very, very happy to have somebody from Kenya, and I will introduce you a minute later, with us here today live. And the focus will be on climate change and related data. So DEAL was established under the United Nations Science Policy Business Forum. It is led by Estonia and is facilitated by the United Nations Science Policy Business Forum. Now, let's look at the main goals of DEAL. First, data should be accessible everywhere. That means nothing should be classified. It should be interoperable, which is a major IT caveat, meaning you can exchange data between different systems and organizations. And it should be true. Second, only big data, enough of data, can be a good basis for successful new digital solutions. And last not least, DEAL unites key actors and provides a collaboration platform. There is no time to talk about many data-related challenges which we all face, globally and in Estonia. But we recognize them, we work on them. How do we manage and protect data? How can we use and combine large data sets from multiple sources? How do we keep administration burden to the minimum, etc., etc. Now, let me come to the first pilot projects. Concrete projects are being prepared right now. As I said, we will start in Kenya and Montenegro. Very different countries from different parts of the world, but this just shows how global the DEAL initiative is. And the DEAL will deal, forgive the pun, with environmental data access, data transparency, and data management. And we hope to demonstrate that there are clear benefits of investing into digital infrastructures and data management. Now, what are the next steps? Well, first, we plan to organize a DEAL design thinking workshop, most likely in January in Tallinn, 2022. And this will bring together some key players, including our partner countries, the program leaders of the UNEP's Environmental Data Strategy, the World Environment Situation Room, the Group on Earth Observations, as well as technology partners and citizen science representatives. And we plan around 100 participants. Sorry, I was actually probably talking during the previous slide about this one, but just to show you that this is the next plan on DEAL design thinking workshop. And the official launch of DEAL is going to be at the 5th session of the United Nations Environment Assembly, UNEA 5. So next time after Estonia had its presidency, it will happen in February 2022. And during this UNEA 5, Estonia and the United Nations Science Policy Business Forum are planning to organize a special session with a focus on DEAL and the outcomes of the first design thinking workshop. So the only thing which remains to say is join in collaboration. DEAL has already received broad support from a number of countries and organizations, and we want to thank absolutely everyone for showing interest and those who have voiced the support for DEAL and attended several brainstorming meetings already. So we invite all countries and stakeholders to join in, as the Prime Minister said, and collaborate actively with the Alliance. And with those words, I am now introducing Ms. Shireen Zorba, who is the head of the Secretariat of the United Nations Science Policy Business Forum, several times mentioned during my small pitch. And I'm just hoping that somebody is taking the cue here and switching her in virtually. It should work. It usually does, but there is usually a small hitch, so we will see what will happen. Miss Zorba, you are very, very welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed, and what a great introduction. I hope you can all hear me. Wonderful. So I'll just start by really saying it's such a privilege to join Her Excellency, the Prime Minister of Estonia, and everyone here at this important deal event at COP26 in Glasgow, at a moment when the world strives to strengthen policy commitments towards effective climate action against a mountain of challenges and great odds. This event shines a light on the importance of international collaboration towards bridging the giant big data gap on the environment, and by doing so, power the transition we all need towards a sustainable and safer future. One of the things we learned the past 50 years is that the success or failure of our multilateral system begins and ends with compliance. Compliance by government, citizens, and of course, business and industry. Achieving acceptable compliance against environmental targets begins and ends with international commitments, national level legislation, and very importantly, transparency that need to be properly executed and measured across the board. When clear accountabilities are put in place, enforced and measured, we tend to do better as a human race. Let's look at where we are when it comes to big data and where we need to be, a path and a journey that we hope DEAL will lead. For 68% of the environment-related SDGs indicators, there is not enough data to assess progress, according to UN studies. These studies also found that for all of the SDGs environmental targets, there is either no data to assess progress or no progress made at all. There is no question that we face a big data crisis when it comes to the environment, and with that, an accountability crisis. We cannot manage what we cannot measure. Big data is about compliance. Big data is about accountability, transparency, and commitment. It's about equity and sharing knowledge, technology, values, and a future where no one indeed is left behind. To achieve the environmental dimension of the SDGs and to achieve all environmental commitments, it is essential to scale up environmental action that is backed by adequate knowledge. Data alone, however, does not produce knowledge. We need data integration from multiple sources, including citizen science. We need the intelligent analysis and packaging of data into real-time, easy-to-understand information that contribute to decision-making across government, industry, and society as a whole. We need to process and share this integrated information using technology tools that are open to all. We need to deploy the latest in artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, quantum computing, among other frontier technologies, all of which require financing, innovative business models, multi-sectoral collaboration. In January 2022, under the DEAL initiative, the government of Estonia, in collaboration with the UN Environment Programme Science Policy Business Forum and multiple partners, will convene the world in Tallinn in the first of its kind multi-sector design thinking exercise, which our MC has just mentioned. And this will aim to draw a roadmap towards a big data revolution for the planet, no less. We will look at the targets that need to be achieved, the communities that need to come together, and the projects that need to be scaled up, supported, and integrated into a global movement We will look at how big data and exponential technologies can deliver societal solutions that help all countries report more accurately on the SDGs and environmental targets, that help everyone access real-time information about the state of the world environment and the impacts of our actions, to help consumers adopt sustainable lifestyles, help producers measure and disclose environmental impacts, help investors assess environmental risk, and help regulators monitor real-time progress. We will announce ambitious pilots, and with key big tech giants, we will create the environment conducive of startup innovation, and we will create a member state-led, multi-sector supported communities to back the development of key world-class initiatives such as UNEP's World Environment Situation Room, and of course, the UN Big Data Strategy on the Environment due by 2025. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, the science has been conclusive. The world is not on track to meet any of the environmental targets set by the multilateral system. Our ambition some years ago was collective action to live in a better world. Today, we call for urgent action to survive. Deal is an important driver of the new systems we need to set in place. Let's create the systems that are built on compliance, measurement, and transparency by establishing accountabilities and base policies and business strategies on facts, not fiction. We could power the transition we all need for a better world. I'll end by thanking Estonia for the leadership and all our partners for working towards a common vision and a better life for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shireen, so much for sharing the perspective from business policy, science policy business forum. It doesn't really matter in which order I say it, does it? But officially, it's United Nations Science Policy Business Forum. And as you've heard, we are not modest in our goals, in no way. The challenges Deal proposes are really, really huge, and they are global. But now we are going back to a very concrete grassroots level, may I say, although Kenya is a huge country, but still it will be the first pilot project, the first concrete project. And I'm very, very happy to welcome on stage Mr. Julius Korir, who is the Principal Secretary in the Department of Devolution. And we are really grateful to you personally, because we know you're actually standing in for somebody who is otherwise engaged in some other event at COP26. But Kenya is represented, so Mr. Korir, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam and Your Excellency. It's a great honor to be on the same podium with you as we share on how to improve climate action in the world. I think, as has been said, I'm stepping in for my colleague who is responsible for matters of environment. And so I'll not be very competent, but I think I know we work together, especially I helping the ministry so as to be able to roll out climate action in the subnational governments, as that is where I'm responsible. In Kenya, we have a target of planting 10 billion trees over the next 5 years. And the idea is that we want to improve the tree cover from the current about 4% to 10% over the period of time. So we work very closely with the Ministry of Environment in Kenya and the subnational governments, which I am responsible for. And so this collaboration with the government of Estonia came in at a very good time, as we were trying to now modernize how we manage the tree plantations and all that. And so we signed a collaboration agreement sometimes this year, and with it we've now signed an MOU with an agency from Estonia called Timber Limited, and this is the company that does the software. And for us as a country, we, apart from increasing the tree cover in the country, forest cover, we also want to make money out of it. And so through the technology, we'll be able to manage the harvesting and the planting and making sure that the exploitation is not going to reverse the tree cover. So this company has already been partnered with an agency of government called the Kenya Forestry Services. This is a parastatal or a semi-autonomous government agency that manages the trees and forests in the country. So they will work together to ensure that this deal program is rolled out. We will hope that through this we'll share lessons learned, we'll share experiences so that we can see that the tree cover in our country and also all over the world will be improved. We, as a government, are very committed to this project because it sort of synchronizes or is in line with what we have as a target to increase the tree cover in the country. So an MOU has been signed between Timbertel and the Kenya Forest Services, and as has been said, the pilot, that is the thinking design, will be in February, and we are looking forward to that meeting so that we can now rethink and look at how to lay out the program so that we can manage the timber supply chain and with the use of smooth data exchange between the two countries. So we are very keen and very ready for this program, and I think we have all systems lined up. So mine was just to reiterate that as a government, we are very committed to this program. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Korir.
Thank you.
It's just wonderful that Kenya and Estonia from different parts of the world have found each other under the umbrella of this deal, new alliance. And we thank you very much for coming in today. We have time for some questions, if there are any, a few minutes. So I'm looking to the audience. If somebody would like to specify, please.
Micro.
I'm from the Northwest Territories of Canada.
Yeah.
And I'm just,
Give the mic.
just curious to know that, are you looking for partnerships?
Just the micro, because we have
Yeah.
people online as well.
I was
Yeah.
trying to yell.
Yeah, no.
So I'm a politician from the Northwest Territories of Canada, and I'm just interested to know, we're on the forefront of climate change. We warm 3 degrees while the rest of Canada is only at a half a degree. So I'm curious to know, and we're a very small population, only 44,000 people in our territory. So I'm curious to know if you're looking for partnerships outside of the Nordic countries where we could partner with you and give you our data as well, because we need the help of larger organizations. We can't afford to do it ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this. We are looking for partners everywhere,
Yeah.
absolutely everywhere. And certainly outside of the Nordic countries. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a living example here on the stage. And we also work together with organizations and local governments, not only countries. So we're very grateful for your interest, and we will be in touch.
And if I may add, this is actually, I think the data works when you have a lot of data. So it's interoperable, it's comparable, and then you make you can base decisions on this because it makes a bigger picture. And therefore, the more parties there are with us, the better. And I also think that if we grow, first it's a sort of a pilot project, but then if it works, then it can also expand. But I think data is something in a bigger picture which is very important to use in a proper way in decision making as well. Yeah. Good, good.
Thank you. We have another question here.
Hi there, my name's Ian
sorry.
Black. I'm an academic from Glasgow, so welcome to my home city. Lovely to have you here. Really interested in the point of transparency and around the Kenyan example. So as an academic at the University of Stirling, will that transparency be open for me, for example, to examine how that's going, how it's working in certain areas? because my great concern is basically that we're moving towards these private partnerships, but businesses tend to cheat.
Yes.
Yeah, we're drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit about running towards businesses that will save us, but businesses tend to cheat. So is that transparency going to be available to all of us so we can see it work?
Yeah, I think it depends on the jurisdiction of and the legislation that is there in every country. Like in our case, Kenya, our constitution guarantees access to information. So if anybody wants to access, there is a protocol to follow, and then you get the information. Thank you.
And I'd like to add that this is actually one of the topics of COP26, isn't it? Transparency of data. I mean, this is part of the negotiations which are going on right now here. And of course, the deal is something which will support this framework. So yes, transparency is the key word. And let's hope it will work. It's not there yet. But
if I may add, it's actually when you have a lot of comparable data sets and it's transparent, then you can also figure out who's cheating. So.
And we had the last question, I suppose, here. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm so delighted to come here. I'm the president of the Royal Town Planning Institute in the UK, and we are a membership organization of 26,000 planners. We are covering 80 countries worldwide. Actually, as the president, I set up a digital task force for planning. I think for planners, we definitely need a lot of data to understand how our city is and how we are performing and how we can do better in the future. So I really welcome the initiative and hope we can be partners as well. Thank you very much.
And yes, and I also think that as governments, we don't know how to use the data, ultimately, and very often, the academics, the companies actually come up with the ideas to solve the problems that there are in the world. So if the data is accessible, it's interoperable, then you can build something on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are publishing our report from the task force early next year or later this year, so we would like to share with you. I think one of the key information we want to say, we need spatial data.
Yes.
So the data is not locational, because sometimes it's a point. Actually, we need the scale as well. That's very important for our cities. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I suppose this last comment showed how useful the deal as such can be and how useful today's event already has been. So it really has been a networking event, and you are very welcome to contact the Estonian government about this, and we will direct you to the right people. So thank you everybody, of course, most of all the Prime Minister and Mr. Korir from Kenya, and thank you all for coming.
Montenegro as well.
And of course Mr. Sharif. Mr. Sharif.